Okay, let's try this again. I was just live here and my phone, I had my hotspot on because my Wi-Fi is being weird and I guess it doesn't like to live stream with the hotspot on. I'm like, we have 5G, what's happening? Anyway, let me close this and open up the new one. So what I came on here to say, damn it, I was in the middle of my spiel. First of all, I was telling you how I have a candle lit right underneath my phone and I had to move things so that I don't, oh yeah, of course you can't watch your fucking thing, Jamie, because your internet's not functioning. Anyway, I'm back. Here I am, whatever. And I was saying that a couple months ago, I joined Lifetime Fitness again, and I've been doing this surrender class that they have. So I have a whole point. I'm telling you this so you understand what I'm talking about when I say you can do hard things. And how what consistence, like what's a hard thing is up to you to decide. Like that's not for anyone else's, determination. It's yours. So basically I had joined back to Club Fitness and I started taking their surrender class several times a week. And it's very much your very traditional yoga where you're getting into a certain pose and you're holding it for 5 to 10 minutes. It's all about breath work. It's all about releasing and relaxing and being in control of mind-body connection, Love being it. But last night, I went to a new class, which was more of a flow. It was called Rooted. So it was very much rooted with your breath, and your intentional, what muscles you're using and what pose and whatever. But it was hard, guys. It was so hard. I was sweating, my hair was wet, my back of my shirt was wet, it was very difficult. And what's interesting is because, and I'm going to write some more about this so that it makes more sense to people, but your body and your mind gets so used to certain things, right? Even if it's not things that are great for you, your body, it becomes the comfort. It becomes what they know. You know what I mean? What your mind, body knows. That's where we talk about how self-sabotage is a real fucking thing, because sometimes our subconscious mind is doing everything it can to keep us in the same place that we were in, because that's the comfort zone, right? Same thing happens with your body. So when I spent over 20 years living in this physical space of constantly being worried about passing out and falling down and feeling like crap, my go-to is we got to go to sleep. We got to be prepared to go to bed. Do not overdo it. Do not overdo it. Abort mission, right? Anytime my body would start to feel a certain way, it would be abort mission. And that was self-preservation. And that was real and needed. And I'm grateful that I was able to figure that out. But now that I am trying to figure out what life is without those symptoms, it's funny because I'm so glad that I'm as self-aware as I am now, and that I spent all that time becoming that self-aware. Everything transpires the way it's supposed to, And so basically, because of that and with that, I've realized that now that these symptoms are gone, my mind and my body are still going, wanting to put myself in those spaces danger, abort mission, this isn't good. So I'm in this class last night and I am profusely sweating, right? I mean, it was a badass class, but I was in the moment. It's funny because I was thinking about how proud I was of my body for being able to do a lot of this flow and these poses really well and hold myself in them. Considering that, I haven't done anything like that in a long time. So I was super proud of myself. And in the next moment, I was really hot and sweaty. And now back in the day when I had my nutrition issues and my nausea all the time and all that, when I would get really warm, or my body would get really worked up like that, I would pass out or throw up, or both. That's what happened. It's what happened. And so I went from, oh my gosh, how proud am I of my body for doing this, to holy fuck, abort mission. This isn't okay. We can't do this. And I'm so grateful that when that head, that space did that, my mind was able to catch it. And we were in a part of the class where we were self-regulating basically through the flow. I wasn't really listening to the lady. I didn't have to. And so I had to stop myself and go, wait, are you okay? So I went into child's pose for a hot minute, which yogis know, if you do yoga, you know that that's a resting pose. So it's kind of like a comfort space. I went there for just a couple of breaths, and I was like, in my head going, we do not need to abort mission. Do you feel like you're going to throw up? And I'm like, no. Like, I was shaking a little bit, but that was just from like muscle use, you know? And anyway, I was able to be like, no, you can do hard things. Like, you don't have to abort mission right now. You're okay. Everything's okay. And so there was a little bit of anxiety for the rest of the class, which of course is a little uncomfortable, but it is what it is. And I was fine. And afterwards I felt so powerful and so strong, this is part of one of the reasons why I do love when I have clients that do work out and challenge themselves in that way alongside of the mindset work that we're doing and the growth that we're doing in their businesses and in their personal lives, because it really does help in a real live in your face feeling way get you there, right? Like, it really does. And so anyway, because of that, like, I was thinking about it this morning, and I was thinking about, like, to me, I'm like, I can do hard things. I have a client who says that all the time. She's like, okay, I'm gonna do this because I can do hard things, you know? And I love that she says that. I don't even know where she got it from, but I was thinking about it as I was doing this last night, and I left there and I felt like $1,000,000, even though I was like exhausted. But I came home and I ate food like I needed to, and I drank my post-workout, and I took a shower, and I was asleep by whatever time, where I could have very easily given up in that moment. And the reason that I'm telling you this story is, meaning the moment when I was like, I can't do this. The reason I'm telling you this story is, to most people, if I was to have this conversation with them, they would be like, hard things, like, what are you talking about? That's not hard, like, blah, 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 right? Because so many times I think we downplay our own challenges and our own triumphs, like our own wins. We play them down so much because we look at what so-and-so and da-da-da-da-da people over the internet or people on wherever are doing or saying, and we think that what we've experienced isn't worthy or doesn't categorize as a hard thing or as a success or as a struggle or whatever. And so we push it down. We just don't accept the reality of our situations. And that is a whole very lengthy conversation for another day. But I really just wanted to share that story with you and basically let you know that everybody, so in the 4 Agreements, if you haven't read the book by Don Miguel Ruiz, you absolutely should. In that, it's always do your best is one of the agreements. And the reality and the very big part of always do your best is that your best is different every day and in every situation. And until you can accept that, you're going to personally torture yourself as you move through life, right? Through situations, you're always going to be comparing yourself to someone else's measuring stick, and you're going to slowly torture yourself instead of being like, you know what? Today, my best was getting up, eating breakfast, brushing my teeth. Like, those were a struggle for me. And it's not for anyone else to judge you or measure it either. That's the other thing. Like, says who? You know, that whatever. We all have our own moments. Like, I've been in my own deep, dark depression spaces where getting up and feeding myself was the only thing that I accomplished that day. And it was big, and it felt like a mountain, and it was extreme in the hardness, right? And that's okay. And then the next day, I might have felt like way better and wrote a book. You know what I mean? Like, your best changes all the time. And I think it's where what we realize is, you know, there's also things of like, don't make assumptions, don't be judgmental, like, don't pass judgment, those things. We do that to ourselves, though. Worse. And that's what the self-torture really is. So anyway, you can do hard things, and you get to measure or decide, you know, what that constitutes, and it'll change for you all the time. So don't get so hung up on the doing and the measuring, because that's not the point, y'all. Like, you'll keep yourself stuck. I know plenty of people who measure themselves according to plans and schedules that other people have made all day long, and those people tend to constantly be searching for something to make them feel adequate or enough. And when they're not doing that plan that someone else has created, they don't feel adequate and they don't feel enough. And the reason is because that's not yours. It's not yours. So take that or leave it. Take from it what you will. Go out into the world. Be a good human. Have a great day. Sending so much love to all of you. And as always, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you've watched the replay, let me know. And if you think anyone else could benefit from this, please hit that little share button and share it over with your people. I appreciate you. Bye-bye.